now? What's your contribution?
My position or my compensation?
Your contribution. Like, what's your contribution in Europe right now?
Okay. Well, I coach 2 different teams in Europe, just
Okay.
so you know. They have the same name, so it's confusing because they don't have colleges over there. So what they have is the Prague Lions club team. That's their developmental team, college age guys. I'm the head coach of that. I develop those guys, and mainly I'm spending all day teaching fundamentals. Everything they've learned from local coaches is from YouTube. So they haven't learned the proper real fundamentals like our guys did. And we're trying to develop those guys to go play professional because so I'm the head coach of that, and I spend like my old wrestling days. We're going double leg takedowns, tackling and proper tackling and blocking, how to hold your hands for the ball. Because these guys have a lot of potential, just they haven't learned quite the fundamentals correctly. So, and I enjoy doing that. So, and it gives me my little head job thing that I love doing and helping kids out and, and developing them. But that doesn't pay my bills. But the European League of Football does, which is the professional team, which they play in the ELF, and it's big time over there. I mean, it's their NFL, stadiums, everything. And down there, it's the teams in Germany, which is where the league is based. Their guys play with good coaching in their club leagues. Did they come to America and play at Ohio State, Nebraska, wherever, come back as pros to play against these guys? We just got out of Richie High School. We're like, man, it's not fair competition at the moment, but we're developing these guys. And that's why we get 10 imports and 6 Americans, or, 4 active a game, 2 on offense, 2 on defense. It gives a little more parity, but the level of play is high over there. It's getting better, every season.
Do you find it challenging? No, not so much challenging, but do you find it easier to prepare them to play in this NFL now as opposed to the way it was back then where you could actually hit someone and not be fined and penalized just for, tackling, per se? Fundamentals.
That's a whole nother show for me because I probably wouldn't be able to play because I was taught, lead with your face mask, shoot your hands at fullback, and run right through them. And I was putting my head down the way we came up. I played ball physically, emotionally. That was me.
And that's how you taught us, man.
I couldn't. So for me, it's like, man, but the other side of that story is I've seen personally, the death of our game can be the CTE. Okay, if we want to keep it going, we can't keep having these brain injuries. I have players I represented that have been paid non-disclosures we can never discuss a lot because they have brain damage in their 20s and 30s, man. It's sick to see from the old school. So I'm all for keeping the players safe, keeping our game growing, and whatever we got to do to make that happen, it has to happen.
Right.
Hey,
so
Coach, let me ask you this, man. If one of your players fuck up, do you have them do the Mustang Mile or 400-yard sprints? Hey, Craig, this man, I fell asleep in the film one time. This man made me go out there and run. So he was tired of seeing me run.
I would have done it too.
When I was a new coach, I was a little, it was my first opportunity. I think I was the youngest head coach in the state of Florida.
Yeah,
I was
scared, man. 27.
I was Coach Dick at that time. I'm a different guy now. That's what Marcus Thomas, when he got drafted, he gave me a big poster from the Gators, and it says, "To the best thing happened to me, Coach Dick," because I was hard on him. And got him to Florida, and that. So I said, this next year I told those guys, you got an example of me this year. Next year, Coach Dick is coming, so you better be ready. So I got to bring it back.
Coach, don't beat yourself up over that, man. Because the reason why I say that, a lot of us guys needed that at that time. When I first came, you and Coach Howard, man. It's like y'all. I never told you guys this. Y'all was like a brother/father to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Coming from South Carolina, moving to Florida, didn't really know nobody. My mother was sick. I really couldn't talk to her. Didn't really have a relationship with my father. My brother, I got my younger brother Terrence. So I know he looked up to me. So I didn't want to seem like, man, my brother acting weak right now. So I really had nobody to talk to. But you two guys, man, I could have talked to you guys, especially you. You were a little bit more close in age at that time to me. So you like a big brother to me, man. I really appreciate it. So don't beat yourself over that because I really needed that at that time. My ass should have been teaching film study, first of all.
Hey, that means everything to me, and that's why I do what I do, and that's why I fell in love with it day one. It said once I walked out the first day of practice, I said, this is what I'm gonna do because I saw the impact you can make. And I think there's so many kids that was in a position I was in high school to where you can go this way or that way. I was going to prison or college, and all my other friends, they went that way. And I went this way, and it's because of coaching, and that's what I try to do is make a difference, and try to help a guy. I made you guys all take the SAT, or you couldn't play in the spring game because I wanted you to have an opportunity to go to college, do something, do something with yourself, and that was my main mission, was getting guys in college. I did leave as the winningest coach in school history of man, right? And I'm glad what they're doing now, but I didn't care about that. What I cared about was we placed 34 kids on scholarships in college. That's awesome. And, and many more, like Kevin Carrico now is a city councilman, right here in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin.
Lance McFarland's a fireman and police. I see this all around. That makes me feel, hey, one day on Judgment Day, I will say, hey, I messed up. Some guy, forget it. But, I did try to do my best to make a difference in this world. And football allows me that place to do that.
Yeah, I think, every true athlete is inspired by the coach. And in any given time, they can say they can point to one coach that made a difference in their life. So, rather it be baseball, basketball, football, whatever have you, I think that every sport need a person in their life that can guide them. And true coaches, that's what they do.
That's my mission. And I lived with different coaches throughout my childhood. My mom was, in and out of the system, and I didn't know my father, and I was a lot of, I didn't have any positive to look up to besides my coaches. Coach Robbie Pruitt, University Christian High School, that was my mentor. That was everything to me. He got me to college, and then ironically enough, after that, like Craig Howard's like my football father, and that's why I coached the Europe. It was just great. They got to come full circle with those two men. Coach Pruitt is the first man that ever in my life said, "I love you, Bruno." I said, "What?" And man, I just, I was like, and then I just felt like, man, I'll run to a wall for this guy. He goes, "I love the way you play. Come on, man." I said, "Man," so I'm, that I'll never forget that. Made a big difference in my life. And I told him that recently. He's back. He's back down here in Florida coaching some more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this one thing, and then I'm gonna ask you my next question. To my clients that I train, that Mustang Mile came from this man, so blame him, okay? Every Friday we have a cardio session. The Earth is my gym, and I always take him to the football stadium. We always do a Mustang Mile for a finisher. So this is where it came from, ladies and gentlemen.
They're gonna hate you in Prague. I'm gonna bring that to Prague. Just remind me about that. It's gonna be the line.
Hey, but Coach, let me ask you this: do you think it's a good idea now what Coach Prime is doing, putting having influence out on his top players so they won't play in a bowl game instead of opting out a bowl game to get prepared for the draft? Do you think that's a good idea that most coaches need to start doing that?
I'll tell you this. Usually it should be the player's decision. And at that point, the player pretty much has an agent picked out. They can say they do or they don't, they do. And the agents won't be giving them advice. They'll at least be getting advice, even had to sign a contract. The agents will tell them not to play, don't risk the injury. But for example, I had a guy like Marcus Thomas. He had some, he's going to be, I knew he was going to be drafted either way, just a matter of where. But he had something to prove because he'd been kicked off his team, during the season, the last year. So I sent him to play in that, and he went and played the All-Star game, and then they remembered who he is. And that's what got him back up there, his name back out there, because, they forget you fast. So I think the risk of injury is too high for a guy going, if he has a projected first or second round grade, he can't do that. He cannot risk that injury. If he's a late round guy and needs to prove himself, he needs to go play.
Yeah, I think we discussed this before.
Not a coaching.
Yeah, we discussed this before, because when you look at Jalen Smith, what happened to him in the last game of the season?
Yeah.
Granted, he got drafted, but he had to sit out the whole year. And I don't know how many teams would have, bet on him like Dallas did. So, like you said, if it's someone who knows that they're going to go on a high draft pick, that's it. That it's going to be them, their coaches. Them and their agents' decision. It's really their family members, but
correct.
Decision that they have to make. Me personally, if I was going high draft, nope.
Hey, if I'm going high in the draft, 3 things can happen, and 2 are very bad. I can go play like crap and go down, or I can go get injured and go down. Only one thing, I can't go much higher, so let's think about this.
That's true. That's true.
This is true.
Hey, who you think going to win? Who you think is going to be the national championship, Coach? What's your thoughts
My
on that?
Oregon Ducks, baby, what are you talking about? I'm the only one that's been wearing Oregon gear here since 1996, and I finally got an opportunity this year to do this.
If they make it to the Natty, you going?
Of course, my daughter. I've been waiting forever for this. Of course, I still got friends out there and all kinds of friends and family out in Oregon, and man, everybody's meeting at national championship game. We're excited.
Oregon. Who put Oregon on the map? Prefontaine.
Oh, man. The ball's very flop in track and field. They were track school first. But Coach Richard Brunoski, our sophomore year, our 94 team, was Rose Bowl against Penn State, and we've been national champions, but we lost that, and that's the year they screwed Florida State out of it when they went undefeated. That's the last time they've had a chance, I think.
Well, one good thing about them, they always have the best uniforms.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. They got some.
You know what? That's been the recruiting tool for many years. They want the JC kids and the California kids. So Eugene, Oregon is not a big city at all. And in fact, if you're a young black kid coming up from California, there ain't no other black people. And so you're like, it's culture shock. So you go there a bunch of, it's not Florida. And in fact, when I got there, I felt uncomfortable. I never been around that many white people. I got to work. I was from County, Florida, where I grew up. So so it's different. It's a different place. It's a wonderful place to play football. People are nice, but they had to do something. It was the uniforms. We're going to give them the shoes, the hats. We're going to have something to get them here that's different. And it was ingenious, and it's still working.
That's the birthplace of Nike, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, the CEO graduated from there, right?
Yeah, Beaverton, Oregon is where it's at, and that's where it is. It's been a Nike school. And you see what they just did? Phil just gave them unlimited budget. They can buy anybody they want now. He said, look, read about it. So they're going to have the best recruiting classes. We'll be good from here on. So that's where the money's going to be.
I know they have one of the best track and field because was it Prefontaine Classic?
They do a lot of stuff out there. It's always on TV. They're a huge track and field. I mean, after we win a national championship this year, then we'll be a football school. But right now, they're still a track school. We'll see.
Yeah. Ernest, you ever heard the story of Prefontaine?
No. What's the story?
The gentleman, he actually was one of the best track athletes that they had. And what happened was he was getting ready for I think it was an Olympic meet or something like that. And just prior to that, he was driving in a car with no top and didn't have roll bars at the time.
Oh wow!
He ran into him in a 18-wheeler or something like that came into his lane and he died in a car accident.
Wow, it's awful. Awful.
Hey, so you ever thought about going in? You ever thought about being an agent again?
You know what? I love football, and I love the agent thing. Because the thing with the agent is you have your team. I need my team. I need my guys. For myself, I need to be held accountable. If I say I'm telling you not to do something, I'm not going to do it. So I need that group, and now that my kids are gone and I'm on my own, I need that in my life. So structure to be accountable and be a mentor. With that said, I just feel like. Tell me what's the interview question again. I got CTE too. I got 12.
Oh, no. Actually, you thought about you ever thought about going being an agent again?
I have my group of guys as an agent, so I love that part of being an agent and doing that. They're calling you and asking you questions when everyone else in the world, the media, the teams, the coaches are coming at them. They're asking you advice. You got to take that very serious, and knowing that you can give them, they count on you. To that, man, I love that. But I hate the business side of it. The agents are all lawyers. I was one of the very few that wasn't. I was just able to go past the exam and you study for it. It's very, very extensive and difficult. But they don't want to sue you. That's what lawyers do. So if one of their players leave them and come to you. They want to sue you. Now they're trying to sue me out of business because it costs a lot to go hire your own lawyer to fight them. So the business side of it sucked. I just kept signing players, and they try to accuse me of everything and sue me on everything. But at the end of the day, I had a relationship with the players, so they signed with me. So I loved it, but I got out of it because I hated running a business. I hated that stuff. It takes the fun away from football, So I said, I'm going to try to go to the front office. So that's why I went to Toronto. And after I was an agent, I went to Toronto to organize and took Chad Owens up there, who just got in Hall of Fame this year. And he was one of my clients. And we went there and had a lot of fun. But I was on the other side, the front office side. I said, if I'm going to deal with the business, I'll negotiate contracts on this side. I've had a lot of success with my players. So I did that. So I'm negotiating against the agents. A few of the ones that had just tried to sue me the year before. So they ain't got a chance to this negotiation. so it was fun. But I did that, and I was doing the player personnel. But I just miss the difference you can make every day is being a coach, and improvement and playing and competing. I like to compete all the time. And, I had to get back on the side, back on the field. And that's why I'm happy where I am right now.
Hey, Coach, so when we talked earlier before the show, you made a comment. I honestly thought you was joking, but you told me you were serious about you have CTE. Two-part question.
We can't diagnose it until death now.
What make you think how you feel physically and mentally to make you think that you have CTE because they say you're going to know when you pass? And the second question is,
I know, I can tell you. I have 12 documented concussions, one a traumatic brain injury. So I know for a fact, I do. Just until I start meeting all this stuff, about 5 years ago. Sometimes you just, you don't feel like yourself. You're intelligent, but you feel dumb. Like, I can't find my keys. I have to do a phone wallet key check before I leave the house every day. And I spend more time in my life looking for stuff that's right in front of my face, and just little things like that and things, I got a character on some things. And I had and me personally, this hasn't happened to me, but one of my former players, he's only in his 30s right now. He almost got shot because he drove to the house he grew up in high school, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to go in the house thinking he's home. And he didn't live there since high school. And it's like, that's man, it's scary. But for me personally, and you get depressing, and you go through these. You gotta have a support group around you because you don't feel like yourself all the time. And sometimes you get depressed and that, that's why I've donated my brain to where and a lot of other players are to be studied after the game.
That's my next question.
Yeah. And Myron Rolle, who was one of my clients out of Florida State, is a part of that. Now he's a neurosurgeon. He's a kid that went to Rhodes for Florida State. He's a brain. That's what he's doing is studying CTE and all that, and hopefully he can help make a difference in football.
Wow. Yeah, I remember Warren Sapp. Everything you saying is what Warren Sapp said too. He said the same thing.
Really?
He experienced. That's why he think he has CTE. When he passed, he's going to donate his brain to science so they can study it.
Yeah, man. You use things out of character. You're like, what's going on? And it's embarrassing more than anything. And that's why, like some players, like Junior Seau, shot themselves through the heart.
Yeah.
Their brain. They say, I'm not me, man. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I would never hit my wife. I've never hit my 30. What the heck? Personally, I haven't. But some people have found themselves doing things like they've never done before. I don't know why. And I hope I don't get to that point. But
I'm gonna tell you this.
I hate feeling dumb at times.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna tell you this, man. If you ever feel that way, like you're gonna do something stupid, man, please contact me. You got my information.
I got you.
Contact me. Let's talk, man. All right.
I appreciate it. Hey, if I didn't kill myself after Amy died 2 years ago and we lost everything in Hurricane Ian, I ain't ever gonna kill myself. Trust me.
There you go. I just let you know, man. Just hit me up if you just ever feel that way, man. Hit me up.
I appreciate it. I will.
Yeah, man. But Coach, man, tell us everything you got, man, and what you got going on in the future, and how can anybody get in contact with you?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm dedicated to this, and remember the old Ed White coach Dan Dish? That went to the Florida Gators. Me and him had those wars. We hate each other. I thought he hated me his whole time, but he's the one that hired me in Europe because I hired guys that beat me before. So he's the one that gave me an opportunity. And that's the football life, you know. I did not even apply over there. I had been on the sideline a couple of years, and I thought it was over for me, because once you're out from the sideline, it's hard to ever get back on, especially the agent tag, you know. So that was very depressing, and I started doubting, you know, part of the CT. I'm like, man, can I do this? Like, I had to prove it to myself that I can. And going out there, having a football family, you know, and this little team I got, they won one game in like 4 years, and we came out and beat the rival, did this, won some games, they actually won the Super Bowl. It's just fun, you know, and so I know I can do it, but and all that stuff. So I'm dedicated to building our brand, American football in Europe. I love it over there. The people are nice, and it's peaceful for me, a lot less stressful, and it's been very healing, you know, after losses that we had. But back to how you can get with me is I'm at NFL Bruno on Instagram, or at Coach Bruno for life. Because I lost Amy, so now I'm I'm for life. That's all I'm gonna do the rest of my life. Coach football, have my football family, and be a good dad.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Well, Coach, man, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. Hey, bro, it's been a long time coming, bro. But hey, man,
I'm very proud of you. I tell you, man, I'm very proud of you, man. Like, hey,
thank you, Coach. Thank you, man.
I was like, yeah, I'm proud of you, man. Hey, I know your hard work and being a positive attitude is what's got you where you are. You know,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can tell you what's funny. You can go back right now and see the kids who went this way and who went that way in life. It was the same decisions and choices that you make there, and and attitude. It goes back. If you believe and have a positive attitude, you can do anything. If you don't believe, you have a hard life.
There you go. There you go. Well, Coach, man, I love you. Man, stay in contact. And when Oregon get their ass kicked next week, man, I'm gonna give you a call, all right?
Hey, I got cash up.
It's been a pleasure, Coach. It's been a pleasure.
All right, Coach. It's been a pleasure, man. Peace. All right, guys. Thank you for liking, subscribing to the channel. Please beat up the comments, man. Keep sharing, keep liking everything. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.